Okay, stop what you're doing for just 1 second, because I need to ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. Have you ever walked into a place and felt like something was already waiting for you there? Like the air itself was different, like time slowed down, like something bigger than you was just there. I'm talking about a place so old, so spiritually charged, that even people who don't believe in God walk away changed. I'm talking about Vrindavan, India. And before you scroll past this, I want you to know something. This video is not about religion. This is about something that happens to human beings when they step into a place where faith has lived for thousands of years. Drop a comment right now. Just tell me, do you believe places can carry spiritual energy? Yes or no? I want to know, because by the end of this video, you might change your answer. All right, let's start from the beginning, because if you're from the United States and someone says Vrindavan, you might have zero idea what that word even means, and that's okay. That's literally why we're here. So let me paint you a picture. You know how certain places in America carry this crazy weight of history? Like you walk into Gettysburg and you just feel something heavy. Or you stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon and suddenly you feel incredibly small in the best possible way. That's kind of what Vrindavan does, except multiply that feeling by about 1,000, and then add 5,000 years of human prayer to it. Vrindavan is a small city in the state of Uttar Pradesh in northern India. It's about 90 miles south of New Delhi, and it sits right along the banks of the Yamuna River. Now, here's where things get really interesting. This is not just some random city. According to Hindu tradition, one of the oldest religious traditions on earth, this is the place where Krishna was born. Not just born, this is where Krishna grew up. This is where he played. This is where he danced. This is the place where the most beloved stories of one of the world's most popular spiritual figures actually happened. We're talking about a city that has been considered sacred for over 5,000 years. Let that number sink in for a second. 5,000 years. While the United States didn't even exist as a country 300 years ago, people have been walking through Vrindavan, calling it holy for 5,000 years. That's not a tourist destination. That's a living, breathing, ancient spiritual heartbeat. And right now, today, millions of people from all over the world travel to this one little city just to feel something, just to breathe the air there, just to see if what people have been saying about it for centuries is actually true. Now, I want you to imagine something. You've been on a plane for almost 18 hours. You land in New Delhi. The airport is massive, chaotic, loud. You get in a car and you drive south. And for the first hour or so, it's just India. It's busy roads, street food stalls, horns honking every 2 seconds, motorcycles weaving through everything. You're tired, you're maybe a little overwhelmed. And then something starts to change. The further you get from the city, the quieter it gets. Not just outside the window, inside your chest. You start seeing the Yamuna River off in the distance. You start seeing little temples, not big fancy ones, just small, ancient temples with orange flags flapping in the breeze. You start hearing bells, not from your phone, not from a church nearby, just bells everywhere, constant, gentle, like the city itself is ringing. And then you enter Vrindavan, and something shifts. I don't know how to explain this scientifically, I really don't, but almost every person, regardless of their religion, regardless of whether they even believe in God, says the same thing when they enter Vrindavan. They say, "I felt something the moment I got here." Some people describe it as peace. Some people describe it as being watched, but not in a creepy way, in a comforting way. Some people just start crying, out of nowhere. No sadness, no reason, just tears. because something in that place touches something in you that you didn't even know was there. That's the Vrindavan spiritual experience that people spend their whole lives chasing. Okay, so now let's talk about what you're actually going to see when you get there, because Vrindavan is not a big city. It's actually pretty small, but it has 5,000 temples. You heard that right, 5,000 temples in one city. Some of them are massive, these huge, centuries-old structures with detailed carvings covering every single wall of the walls. Some of them are tiny, just a little alcove in a wall with a candle burning and a deity inside. But every single one of them is alive. Every single one of them has someone praying inside. Every single one of them smells of incense and flowers and ghee lamps. And you walk past them constantly. You can't take 10 steps in Vrindavan without encountering a temple. It's not background noise, it's the whole experience. Now let me walk you through some of the big ones. The first one is the Banke Bihari temple. This is probably the most famous temple in all of Vrindavan, and the experience inside is unlike anything you've ever been a part of in your life. The main deity here is Lord Krishna in a very specific form called Banke Bihari, which basically means the one who is bent in 3 places. It's a reference to the way Krishna always stood, with a slight tilt, relaxed, playful. Now here's what makes this temple wild. When they open the curtain to reveal the deity, and they only open it for a few seconds at a time, the crowd literally erupts. People chant, people wave their arms, people weep. The energy in that room hits you like a wave. If you've ever been to a massive concert like 50,000 people all losing their minds at the same time, it's that kind of collective energy. Except nobody's watching a performer. They're experiencing something they believe is divine. And even if you don't share that belief, you feel it. The collective faith of thousands of people is a physically palpable thing. You don't need to believe in Krishna to feel the electricity in that room. You just need to be human. Now, if you're from the US, you might actually recognize the next one. ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is behind the Hare Krishna movement. You've probably seen Hare Krishna devotees somewhere in your life, maybe Times Square, maybe an airport, maybe in some movie. Well, Vrindavan has one of ISKCON's most important temples in the world. And this one is actually really accessible for Western visitors. It's clean, it's organized, there are signs in English. The kirtan, which is the devotional singing, happens here every single day. And kirtan is something I genuinely believe every human being should experience at least once. Imagine a room full of people, and they're all singing the same words together. Simple words, repeated over and over. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The rhythm starts slow, and then it builds. And the instruments, the mridanga drums, the cymbals, the harmonium, they all build together. And something happens in your nervous system. Scientists have actually studied this. Repetitive group singing and chanting activates something in the human brain that produces states very similar to meditation. Your heart rate slows, your cortisol drops, your oxytocin rises. You feel connected to the people around you, to something bigger. That's the science. The spiritual interpretation is yours to decide, but the experience is real. Now, the next one visually is going to blow your mind. Prem Mandir means Temple of Divine Love, and it is one of the most visually stunning structures I have ever seen in my entire life. This temple is made entirely of white Italian marble and carved into every surface, every pillar, every wall, every step are scenes from the life of Krishna. The detail is unbelievable. At night, the temple is lit up with colored lights that cycle through the whole rainbow, and it just stands there glowing against the dark sky. People sit in the gardens outside for hours, just sitting, because beauty, real beauty, does something to the soul. And this temple has beauty in abundance. There's also the Radha Raman temple, and this one is a little older, a little less crowded. The Radha Raman Temple was established in the 1500s. The atmosphere here is different from the bigger temples. It's quieter. It's more intimate. The priests still follow rituals that are hundreds of years old. And when you stand in that temple, with incense burning and oil lamps flickering and ancient Sanskrit hymns being sung, you feel like you stepped clean out of the modern world. Like time is not relevant anymore. Like you were just a person standing in a holy place that has been holy since before America was even an idea. That feeling is hard to describe, but it's very, very real. Let me take you somewhere else now, away from the temples for a minute, down to the river. Because the Yamuna River in Vrindavan is its own whole thing. The ghats are the stone steps that lead down to the river. And in Vrindavan, the ghats are ancient. I mean crumbling, moss-covered, hundreds of years old ancient. And they are some of the most peaceful places I have ever sat in my life. Early in the morning, before the city fully wakes up, the ghats are quiet. The mist is still sitting on the water, and there are devotees already there, sitting, praying, bathing. Some of them have been there since 4 a.m. They're not tourists. They're not doing this for Instagram. They genuinely believe this river is sacred, and they come every single morning, some of them for their entire lives, just to sit beside it and feel something. You sit there, the sun starts to come up, the bells in the nearby temples start ringing. You can smell flowers and incense drifting down from the temple steps. And for a moment, a real, genuine moment, you don't think about your job, you don't think about your bills, you don't think about your phone. You just sit and breathe and exist. And that might be the closest thing to God that most of us ever actually get. Not a vision, not a miracle, just a moment of complete stillness in a world that never stops moving. Vrindavan gives you that. That's the spiritual journey in India that people fly thousands of miles to find. All right, let me be real with you for a second, because I don't want to make Vrindavan sound like some perfect, pristine dream world. It's India. It is delightfully, wonderfully, chaotically India. The streets are narrow, like really narrow. Two people passing each other on foot is sometimes a negotiation. There are cows walking through the streets, and not just standing there, actually walking around, wandering, doing whatever they want, because in this city, cows are sacred, period, full stop. Nobody moves them, nobody honks at them, you just go around. And then there are the monkeys. Oh man, the monkeys. Vrindavan has thousands of monkeys, and they are confident. They are not afraid of you. They will take your sunglasses right off your face. They will grab food out of your hand. They will sit on your shoulder if they feel like it. It's chaotic and hilarious and kind of amazing all at once. But here's the thing about the chaos. It's part of the experience. The narrow streets with flower sellers and street food stalls, the smell of fresh marigolds and frying jalebi and incense all mixed together, the sound of devotional music pouring out of every shop, the color, orange, pink, yellow, purple, literally everywhere you look. It's overwhelming in the best way. It's alive, like the city itself is a living organism, and you are just one small part of it for a little while. And oh, the peacocks! Vrindavan has wild peacocks. They're literally just walking around in the city, because Krishna, according to Hindu tradition, is always depicted with a peacock feather in his crown, and so peacocks are considered the birds of Krishna. They're protected, they're revered, and they are absolutely everywhere. You'll be walking down a little alley, and a peacock will just step out of a doorway and spread its full tail right there in the middle of a city street. And for a second, you will think, okay, this place is genuinely different. Now I want to talk about something that I find genuinely fascinating, because this is the question at the center of everything. Will you feel God in Vrindavan? I've talked to a lot of people about their experience in Vrindavan, people from all kinds of backgrounds: Christians, atheists, agnostics, skeptics, scientists, artists, business people. And the stories they tell are remarkably similar. They don't all say, "I felt God," but almost all of them say something happened there that they can't quite explain. There was a guy from Texas, actually, who went to Vrindavan purely for a travel video. He's a YouTuber, completely non-religious. He went with a camera, a tripod, and zero spiritual expectations. And he said about an hour into his time there, he found himself sitting in the Vrindavan forest, which is a small grove of trees in Vrindavan that is considered incredibly sacred. Legend says that Krishna dances there every night, and because of that legend, nobody's allowed to stay in Vrindavan after sunset. Not the priests, not the caretakers, nobody. This Texas guy sat there in the afternoon, and he said he cried. He didn't know why. He said it felt like something inside him just broke open, not in a bad way, like something that had been closed for a long time just opened. He didn't call it God, he called it presence. There was also a woman from California, a scientist, who went to Vrindavan as part of a study on sacred spaces and human psychology. And she described something that she said she genuinely did not expect. She said she felt what she could only describe as unconditional welcome, like the place accepted her completely, without judgment, without requirement. She didn't have to believe anything, she didn't have to do anything, she just had to show up. And something in that environment communicated to her nervous system, you are safe here, you belong here. She called it the sacred space effect, this phenomenon where ancient places of worship produce measurable changes in human psychological state, reduced anxiety, increased feelings of awe, enhanced sense of connection. And Vrindavan, she said, produced the strongest version of this effect she had ever documented. And then there are the people who do feel God, directly, powerfully. People who walk into the Banke Bihari temple and feel a presence so overwhelming that they fall to their knees. People who sit by the Yamuna at dawn and feel in that absolute silence that something sees them, something knows them, something loves them. These are not crazy people. These are teachers, engineers, doctors, regular human beings who walked into Vrindavan with an open heart and walked out changed. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. That's not my job. That's between you and whatever you believe in. But I am here to tell you that something happens in Vrindavan, and that something is real, even if we don't all have the same word for it. Okay, we absolutely cannot talk about Vrindavan without talking about Holi. Because if you want to experience Vrindavan at its absolute most electric, most alive, most mind-blowingly beautiful peak, you go during Holi. Now, you've probably heard of Holi. Even in the US, Holi has become a thing. People throw colored powder at each other. There are Holi festivals in major American cities now. But let me tell you something. What you've seen in the US is a cute little echo of what Holi is in Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is the birthplace of Holi. This is where it started. And here it lasts not one day, but a whole week. The whole city transforms. Every street becomes a celebration. Colored powder, gulal, fills the air so thick it looks like smoke. The colors are insane. Pink and orange and green and purple all at once. Music is playing everywhere. People are dancing in the streets. Strangers are embracing. Old women are throwing powder on young men. Kids are chasing each other. Devotees are chanting and singing and celebrating with a kind of joy that is completely uncontained. And the best part, everyone is invited. It doesn't matter if you're Hindu, it doesn't matter if you're American or European or whatever. The moment you walk into a holy celebration in Vrindavan, you're in. Someone will put color on your face, someone will pull you into the dance, someone will hand you a glass of thandai, a traditional spiced drink, and you will laugh. Genuinely, completely, fully laugh, because it's impossible.
The collective joy in Vrindavan during Holi is one of the most life-affirming things a human being can experience. If you ever ask me, when should I go to Vrindavan? My answer's always Holi. Just go. Trust me, go. Now, there's a version of Vrindavan that most tourists miss, because most tourists follow the day schedule. Wake up, visit temples, see the ghats, eat, sleep. But if you stay up, if you walk the streets of Vrindavan late at night, you see something else entirely. The crowds thin out, the noise settles, and Vrindavan becomes something almost otherworldly. The temples are still glowing, the bells are still ringing, softer now, but still. And there are people out, devotees, who walk the path called parikrima. The parikrima is a sacred circuit that goes around the entire perimeter of Vrindavan. It's about 9 miles, and devoted pilgrims walk it barefoot, in the middle of the night, chanting, praying, singing softly. You'll pass them and they'll smile at you, not asking for anything, not wanting anything, just walking, just devotion. And you'll walk a stretch of it yourself if you have any sense, because walking that path at night in the darkness with the smell of jasmine in the air and the sound of distant kirtan drifting through the streets is an experience that will stay with you for the rest of your life. There's also the Nidhiwan at night. As I mentioned before, by sunset everyone has to leave. The gates are locked, and what happens inside after that, nobody knows for certain. But in the morning, the caretakers say they find signs, flower petals scattered across the ground in patterns, the swings disturbed as if someone used them. Believe it or don't, but standing at the locked gates of Nidhiwan at midnight in the dark in Vrindavan, you will feel something, a quiet thrill, an awareness of something just beyond the understanding. And maybe that's exactly where faith lives, right at that edge. All right, let's take a quick break from all the deep stuff, because we need to talk about the food. Vrindavan is a completely vegetarian city, not mostly vegetarian, not vegetarian friendly, completely, totally, 100% vegetarian, no meat anywhere, because this is a sacred city and the tradition here is strictly pure, food that is light, clean, and spiritually intentional. Now, if you're a meat eater, and hey, no judgment, you might think that sounds limiting, but let me tell you something, the vegetarian food in Vrindavan will redefine what you think vegetarian food can be. The flavors are unreal. Let's start with prasad. Prasad is food that has been offered to the deity in the temple before being distributed, and in Vrindavan, every temple distributes prasad. Sometimes it's just a spoonful of sweet halwa, this ghee-fried semolina dessert that melts in your mouth. Sometimes it's a whole plate of rice and lentils and vegetables. But whatever it is, there's something about prasad. People say it tastes better than anything you could cook yourself. And I don't think that's just superstition. I think when you receive something with gratitude, when you receive it as a gift rather than just a meal, it actually does taste different. The experience changes the taste. The street food in Vrindavan is also insane. Alum tikki, crispy fried potato patties with chutneys, puri bhaji, fluffy deep-fried bread with spiced potato curry, lassi, thick, cold, creamy yogurt drinks that you will want to drink 4 of, kachori, deep-fried pastry stuffed with spiced lentils, and sweets. Ah, the sweets. Pedas, barfis, halwa, kheer, rabri. Vrindavan is famous for its sweets, particularly small disc-shaped milk sweets that have been made in this region for hundreds of years. They're simple, they're perfect. You will eat too many. You won't regret it. Now I want to address something that might be in your head. You might be thinking, okay, this all sounds amazing, but is this for me? Like, I'm not Hindu. I'm not even particularly religious. Will I fit in there? Will I feel out of place?
And the answer, genuinely, is no. You won't feel out of place, because Vrindavan has this incredible thing about it. It doesn't have a door policy. There is no check at the entrance. Nobody asks you what you believe before they let you in. The tradition of Vrindavan, the very heart of what this place is about love. Krishna, in Hindu tradition, is not known for judgment. He is known for love, for play, for music, for joy. And the city that carries his energy reflects that. I've seen Christians walk into Vrindavan temples and weep with recognition, not because they converted, but because they felt love. And love doesn't belong to any one religion. I've seen atheists sit by the Yamuna and say, I don't know what I believe, but I believe this place is special. I've seen people walk in guarded and leave gentle. I've seen people walk in looking for answers and leave comfortable with the questions. Vrindavan does something to the heart, and your heart doesn't need to speak Sanskrit for it to work. It just needs to be open, even just a little bit, even just enough to look around and say, okay, there's something here. I feel it. That's all Vrindavan asks of you. Okay, so now let's get practical, because I know some of you are actually thinking about making this trip happen, and I want to help you make it real. You're flying into Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. From most major U.S. cities, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, you're looking at a direct flight of around 14 to 16 hours, or connecting through places like Dubai, Qatar, or London with a layover. From New Delhi Airport to Vrindavan, you're looking at about a 2 to 3 hour drive, depending on traffic. You can hire a private car or take a shared taxi. The roads are an experience in themselves. Just be ready for it. Now, the best time to visit Vrindavan is between October and March. The summers in this part of India, April through June, are brutally hot. We're talking over 110 degrees Fahrenheit on some days. Monsoon season, July through September, brings heavy rain. For Holi, come in February or March. For Janmashtami, which is Krishna's birthday celebration, come in August. That night in Vrindavan is electric. The temples stay open until midnight. The chanting is continuous. The city celebrates like Krishna himself is about to arrive. For quiet, peaceful, contemplative Vrindavan, go in November. The crowds are smaller, the air is cool, the city breathes. Vrindavan has options for every budget. There are dharamshalas, traditional pilgrim guest houses that are very basic and very cheap. There are mid-range hotels that are clean and comfortable. If this is your first time, stay inside Vrindavan itself rather than commuting from a nearby city, because the experience of waking up inside Vrindavan, hearing the morning bells, smelling the incense, is part of the whole thing. You want to be immersed, not visiting, immersed. When entering temples, cover your shoulders and your knees. Remove your shoes before entering any temple. There will be a place to leave them. Dress modestly in general when walking the streets. Bring cash. Not everywhere takes cards. Bring an open mind. Bring a little more patience than you think you'll need, and leave your assumptions at home. I want to spend a few minutes on this, because it matters. The question isn't just, what will you feel in Vrindavan? The question is, what will you carry home? Because people don't come back from Vrindavan the same. Not really. Something changes, and I think I know what it is. In our daily lives, especially in the United States, we're trained to achieve, to produce, to perform, to be useful. Our worth is tied to what we accomplish, what we make, what we earn, how productive we are, and that is exhausting. It is a quiet, chronic, invisible exhaustion that most of us don't even recognize anymore because it's all we've ever known. And then you go to Vrindavan, and you encounter a completely different relationship with existence. Here, people sing to God not to get something. They sing because they love. They give flowers not as a transaction. They give them as devotion. They walk barefoot not as punishment. They walk barefoot as presence. Every action is connected to something beyond utility. Every moment has meaning, not because of what it produces, but simply because it is. And when you spend even a few days in that environment, something recalibrates in you. You start to feel less like a machine that needs to keep running, and more like a human being that is allowed to simply exist. That is a profound shift, and it doesn't go away when you leave. You bring it home. You bring it into your morning coffee, into your interactions with strangers, into the way you look at the sky, into the way you breathe when things get stressful. People come back from Vrindavan and they start meditating. They start spending more time in silence. They start being more patient with their families. They start questioning what they actually want out of life. Not in a crisis way, in a clarifying way, like fog lifting, like suddenly seeing the road ahead more clearly. That is the Vrindavan India spiritual experience that nobody fully warns you about before you go. They tell you about the temples, they tell you about the ghats, they tell you about the peacocks and the monkeys and the colors, but they don't always tell you about the quiet revolution that happens inside you. The way that place reaches into you and gently, lovingly rearranges something. I've been building to this. You've been waiting for this answer. Will you feel God in Vrindavan? And I'm going to give you the most honest answer I can give. I don't know what you'll feel, because what you feel depends entirely on what you bring. If you come guarded, arms crossed, walls up, ready to be unimpressed, Vrindavan will be a nice enough place. You'll see beautiful temples, you'll eat good food, you'll take great photos, and that's fine. But if you come open, if you come quiet, if you come with even a small willingness to receive whatever this place has to offer, something will happen. I can't promise it will be what you call God, but I can promise it will be something real. Something that you will think about on a random Tuesday afternoon 6 months later. Something that will come back to you in the middle of the night. Something that will make you smile and shake your head and think, man, that place. Vrindavan has been a place of divine encounter for 5,000 years. For 5,000 years, human beings have walked those streets looking for something. And for 5,000 years, they have found it. Not always what they expected, not always what they asked for, but something. Something true, something that moved them, something that changed them. And you know what I think? I think that whatever God is, if God is, he, she, it, does not require a particular religion, does not require a particular nationality, does not require perfect belief or zero doubt. I think presence requires only one thing from you. Presence. Show up. Be there. Be actually, genuinely, fully there, and Vrindavan will do the rest. Look, I started this video asking you if you believe that places can carry spiritual energy, and you dropped a comment, yes or no. I want to come back to that now, because here's what I believe. I believe that every act of faith leaves something behind. I believe that 5,000 years of prayer, of devotion, of tears, of joy, of surrender, of love, soaks into the ground, into the trees, into the river, into the air. I believe that when you walk into a place where millions of human hearts have cracked open over millennia, you feel something of all of them, like echoes, like a frequency that's been playing in that location for so long that the place itself has learned to broadcast it. And when you step into that frequency, something in you recognizes it, because it's the same thing that lives in you, quiet maybe, covered over by the noise of modern life, but there. That longing for something real, that hunger for something beyond the scroll, the grind, the inbox, the algorithm, that deep, ancient human need to feel that you are not alone in this universe. Vrindavan answers that need, not perfectly, not for everyone in the same way, but it answers it. And that answer, whatever shape it takes for you, is worth traveling for. It is worth the 16-hour flight. It is worth the chaos. It is worth every minute of discomfort, because some experiences don't just add to your life, they expand it. They make more room in you for wonder, for peace, for the kind of quiet joy that has nothing to prove. So here's my challenge to you. Start planning. Not some vague someday maybe plan, a real plan. Research flights, put a date on the calendar, start making it happen. Because life moves fast, and the things we want to experience, we have to go after them. Vrindavan isn't going anywhere, but your hesitation could cost you years. And while you're here, do me a favor. Hit that like button if this video moved you even a little bit. Subscribe if you want to come on more journeys like this with me. And drop a comment. Tell me, are you planning to visit Vrindavan? Have you already been? What did you feel? Because I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories. More than anything else on this channel, I love hearing what happens to real people in real places, because that's what this is all about. Real experiences, real transformation, real life. Thank you for watching. Seriously, thank you. The fact that you sat here for this whole video means something to me. It means you're looking for something too. And I genuinely hope that you find it. In Vrindavan, in yourself, wherever the path takes you. Go safe, stay curious, and keep that heart open. I'll see you in the next one.